Yeah, and for good reason. And it just felt like when last week we saw them, it just none of that stuff materialized whatsoever. And it seems like a recurring theme here for a lot of teams about coordination being somewhat lacking. And now that we are into picks and bans, let's see what we get. The Galio Lucian already being banned out for the side of Loud. So they're looking quite a bit at mid lane. And they are actually the ones to ban out the Pantheon here, which will free up something for VRX because they've already banned the Akali, the Zoe, and Olaf. Talia's up this game. We've not seen Talia all day so far.
No, that is true. We have not seen Talia. She's been with some relative presence here through 8 games. I guess through 9 games she's been picked or banned. Only been played twice. As I'm looking at my stats here, no, banned twice, played 6 times. We saw her a lot more in week 1. Not much through the first 3 games,
There
if
we
at
go.
all. And there it is. Okay, cool. I gotta.
Okay, yeah, I was a little bit worried because last week on Sunday, Axeman was kind of saying no more Talia, please no more Talia, and I was worried because CBLOL for a while it looks like they're taking his advice. We weren't seeing any Talia. I still think she's really strong, and Vorex's answer makes sense here. Renekton Talia, one of the scariest combos. Just yoink that. Don't give it over. Like if they pick Talia, we'll take Renekton.
Yep, and put it in the hands of FNB and the Yone hover here for Crastiel. He does have a game of Yone under his belt. Oh, and they go old school here. Renekton Elise. We're back in season 3, man.
Okay, and Elise has always been that sort of more aggressive, even earlier game oriented Nidalee here, which was available, and they just don't want it. They're going all in. So when I see that Elise and I see that Renekton, I'm expecting to see some other really strong early lanes coming through. Either like a Leona, Nautilus, or Alistair in the bot lane, so they get some heavy engage. Maybe something like a Twisted Fate in the mid lane, or something with point and click CC. Forget the Twisted Fate. That's going straight over to Loud instead.
Yep, and I think and Crastiel on this Yone, I like the setup from Elise is there. Slash if you can get a knockup, Elise can just provide the rest of that burst. But Renekton Elise is what you're looking for there. I also am a little bit bummed. Okay, well, Battlestar.
Still a chance.
Was a little bit bummed that Don Arts played with my heart like he did. He was hovering between Yumi and Udyr, and if we got either of those, I would have been really happy. And then he picks what I think. I'm sorry to all Volibear players. I think it's just like one of the most boring champs in the game is Volibear, and just like the most kind of like stale last 2 years since his rework. It's like we get it. He's just aggressively mediocre. I don't think he's very exciting to watch, but that's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean it's a safe pickup
Yeah.
ish, but I think actually for Tay, it's not a bad top lane matchup into the Renekton. It has the survivability to go toe to toe, and in the extended trades can do pretty well as well. So perhaps it's more of a specific counter to the Renekton, not one that we see a ton of. And I don't personally think it's like a hard counter, but I'm
No.
sure that Loud has their plans. Tay is the current reigning CBLOL champion for a reason here, previously on that 2020 INTZ squad.
Yeah, but it's to your point. You take Volibear because of the safety. There's not a lot of matchups he's just gonna outright lose, like you said, because of the sustain, because of those extended trades that he can thrive in. Into a lot of just really meta top laners right now. Set, he's fantastic. Even into Jace, he can do all right. But Renekton especially. We're not going to see Quinn, unfortunately, but Leona and Rel banned out here. The bottom lane has not been sorted for Loud, and they're taking away Seos and all his opportunities to set up Dudes the Boy, who is one of, again, these are 2 of the best AD carries in the biz right now.
Yeah, especially Seos and Duds. They've been together through multiple teams here, so they're definitely a combo that's very, very experienced working together. And with all the ADCs pretty much untouched here, besides Lucian, who did kind of get banned, but I'm not sure that was aimed at ADCs here. It is going to be the Kaisa Aphelios, which most likely will get locked in here because they are the 2 highest priorities. And now the question then becomes, what support does Loud want to lock in? If you left your support all the way to the end here, I feel like you need to make a statement with the support. The support has to be a key to your composition, which already is running double globals.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and I appreciate this because you have other. This isn't going to be like Cleon in the game that we saw with Renska, where he was the only source of agency here. You have other go buttons. You have an ability to get into the back line with the TP, or with you've got a ton of ways here, right? I mean, Seos and
Mhm.
Don are effective engagers, but you've got ways to get into the back line with the Weaver's Wall, the TF ult, and the Killer Instinct. This is a very, you can get picks, you can 1-3-1 this, but you can also, I'm having like flashbacks to that Renska game, and just I felt bad for Cleon, like just having to make all these plays and not being able to do so.
Well, to be fair to Loud, their draft is not the same as that poke composition. They actually have other things they want to do. That said, team fighting is probably not the highest thing on their list. When you've got the Talia, when you've got Twisted Fate, you've got a lot of pick potential as well. You've got a lot of macro prowess that you can leverage. And if you do, of course, get far ahead enough, you can literally just take over a game and team fight, even if your comp's not built for it. Especially, when you've got players like Dine Kiddo, who is second richest in player in the game, behind, I believe it was Titan there. Though it doesn't do anywhere near quite as much damage, and I suspect the numbers might be inflated a little bit by the loaded dice, because this is Dine Kiddo's second time playing Twisted Fate here.
Yeah, and he's looked sharp all over the place. I think what was the other game? Was it Lucian or Irelia that he played? It was it was Jace. None of the above. Good job, 4x4. but no, I mean they have options. I would like to see. I mean, I think, look, Crastiel, he's played fine, but I think is the weak link in this VRX team. If nothing else, just because the rest of the team, right? Like Matsuzake was a bit less of a proven commodity, but Matsuzake is a monster. FNB and Yampi are lords. Crastiel is a bit less of the unknown quantity here, and Dinkedo, he's gonna be playing with a head full of steam here. TF doesn't have like a ton of kill pressure, right? That's not his point, and he might have trouble depending on how this Victor is played to abuse the range advantage, especially before the rapid fire cannon, right? You're not going to get that for the laning phase. It's just for gold card range. I think this mid lane matchup is where I'm going to have my eyes.
For sure. And for Matsukaze and the rest of his team here for VRX, they have to step up across the board, because all the potential on paper has not translated into any of the spreadsheets which track their stats, as they currently have some of the worst KDA in the league as a team. I mean, speaking about team coordination, that's not the sort of team coordination any team wants to have.
No, this is just 5 fingers. They are not a fist quite yet. We'll see if they can do so. We were talking off stream. I think your best case scenario, obviously, for VRX is a win, and as an O2 team, taking down everyone's new fan favorite in Loud. But if you could even put together, again, no moral victories, but I look back at what INTZ did against Flamengo and how they just stumbled out the gate and looked like a walking dumpster fire in their first 2 games, given all the talent, given like the fact that the organization, yes, with a lot of roster turnover, was the reigning CBLOL champs, went to Worlds, come on, and just looked so dead, and went up against a very good team in Flamengo and gave them a very, very good game.
Yeah, so definitely there's hope for VRX to come back here. And their team composition, we didn't talk too much about it, but it's fairly standard strong comp here. I'm looking at Yampi to make things happen. You've got a Renekton, you've got Victor. There's a lot of kill potential bot lane as well. I mean, sure, Aphelios isn't known to be strong early game, but you've got the Alistair, and at least packs enough damage in her own kit that a Kai'Sa should be just easy kills for her, as long as there's some follow-up CC somewhere to help her. So Yampi, I feel like, really needs to do something. But for now, we're getting some interesting jungling. We've now seen horizontal, we've seen vertical, we've seen diagonal. I don't know what you call this when they're literally on the same side, but kind of flipped here.
Yeah, I don't have a name for it. I'm sure there's something clever, but at the risk of wasting oxygen, I don't have any windows cracked in my room. Be a little conservative on that front. But Don Arts, who himself has been a bit of a revelation. Holy guacamole.
That's gotta be the biggest I've seen.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, everyone loves Loud. They are the hot new thing right now, and with good reason. They're certainly playing like it. Like you said, their branding, their marketing, but their talent is a lot of fun as well. They've just been a ton of fun to watch, and with the statement that they made in their first game, right? Yes, these are old players, but this is a new franchise, and they went against a very well-known franchise in Pain Gaming in game 1. Yeah, it was a 35 or 36-minute game which ended with a lowercase b backdoor. As Yampi trying to go all in here on Donar's, going to have some help from Dean Kato.
Oh, everybody's here now.
Yeah, just got the gold card on it. That did nothing to Crastiel. Donar's has to flash away from the death ray. Tay has to flash Yampi over the wall. Tay does land the stun, but Yampi has to level up on him, and the blue buff. The E. Game over for First Blood.
Wow. Okay. How often do you get to see that? The junglers, walking out of each other's jungle, meeting each other, and right away a three-man power in there. I had said I wanted to see Yampy gank FNB and try and get that lane snowballing, but you know what? Yampy's just like, nah, I got this. I'll do this myself because FNB just went back to lane, started farming it up, and that's Taste Flash and Teleport blown here. An easy regank for Yampy whenever he wants to do so.
Yeah, that's so huge. Or if nothing else, if you can keep eyes on Donarts and wherever he is, it really helps you set up for Dragon as well. No surprise volley bear on a sneaky ward either. And now with the Flash Gold card, followed up by Flash himself, lands a seismic shove. Hard CC and Talia. Welcome to Season 11, everybody.
Yep, that's Talia Renekton, known as one of the most OP combos, but hey, so is Talia Twisted Fate. Just any point and click CC basically with Talia feels super, super bad. And what's going to feel even worse for Crastiel is that once they are 6 here for Donards and Dainkedo, they can just come back and do that to him anytime they want, no matter where Donards is on the map, because the middle of the map can be reached by these sort of semi-globals pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how those line up. I mean, this could be a more. We talked about how in an earlier match, I confess which one, how a Cloud Drake wouldn't be the most necessarily helpful thing for certain comps. With all these globals and semi globals, this feels like a match where you could get a lot more value out of that.
Definitely. But for the first Drake, we are going to be getting the Inferno Drake in just over 10 seconds here. Raw damage for both teams. Both teams would like to pick it up. And I feel like it'd be scarier for the side of Loud if VRX does manage to get that, because Yampy with his Elise is going to be looking to make plays. Same with that Renekton. They're already lane dominant here. Already a lot of burst damage. And I do expect to see both teams try and contest this one, starting with the vision from the supports.
Wow, and look at Tay just hunkering down, first back Bramble Vest, saying yeah, dominate this FNB. That is just, I mean, yeah, showing
It is
all
efficient.
there. Yeah, no, it's really nice. The grievous wounds are nice, right? And you're not. It's not one of these things of like, oh well, they don't have to auto attack you. Yes, he does actually. Exactly what FNB has to do.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not the most dominant pickup. You can call it beta if you want, but you know what? It's efficient and it works. So
I'd rather be in a live beta than a dead alpha.
exactly. So, sometimes that's true. I don't care what all the NA streamers tell you. When it comes to pros, not dying is key here, and we are seeing the shove out.
PNA streamers will flame you whether you die or not in that scenario. It's a lose-lose.
True. Yeah, but at least you can claim your beta that way.
True.
Oh.
Team Ghetto has no idea that Yampy is there, but is on the correct side of the lane, very low on mana. They waited for him to blow the QW, the wild card as well. Crastiel able to help Yampy pick up the kill. Donart's there too little, too late. Now they've got an advantage here. No mid laner. Dinkedo does have the TP. See if they pull the trigger on this dragon. The scuttle advantage is there for Loud.
Yeah, and for Dainkedo as well, it was just literally the very, very edge on paper. It actually kind of looked like he was out of that gravity well already, but it tagged him and he's dead. And now they're going to start this one up. TP already used by Dainkedo, get back to the mid lane. So the mid laners rotating will be a bit slow. It's going to be Crastiel coming out first.
Matsukaze.
FNB.
Itself safe. Here comes the TP. Crastiel taking the scenic route, was staying alive. And all things considered, oh my gosh, that was so close. No heart, no blood, no foul, right?
Yeah, no harm for no foul. He got out. No steak on the dinner table tonight for now. Was able to get Donarts a little bit too late, I think. He's gonna keep going.
He's gonna try. I think Donarts wants a Krug. Let's see.
Oh,
he might get a kill at that. It's a 3v1, but the health bars don't make it feel like a 3v1. Here comes the exhaust as well. Matsukaze, I think he's able to return the kill.
He's still here?
Yampy, don't troll your boy. Okay, good.
I don't know what happened there. It looked like Yampy froze for a second because he just kind of stood in the middle of that minefield and then just got wrecked. So a 1-for-1 trade. They do finally get Was, but I don't really want to say it's worth when you traded the jungler for it. So action from Loud, even if perhaps not the most effective of action.
No, yeah, I guess consequentially speaking, is FNB going to lay down a little bit of damage here onto Tay, pop the pots as well, Conqueror up. But yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no all-in potential here. And FNB going immediately into the Mercury Treads for his first item.
Okay, neither of these guys going alpha trying to dominate here. No, no, we're all going
No.
defensively. But you know what? I like the boots pick up a lot, especially since this way he can run Tay down more efficiently. Same with Don Arts here. Having that mobility is going to be really, really nice. And oh, both these teams are committing really hard to this Herald. We're seeing everybody being pulled up, both bot laners, not just the supports this time.
Yep, it's a party in the top river, and everyone is invited. No TPs, no problem. But here's your quasi TP, Dinketo. If nothing else, just getting vision on everybody. Where's he gonna land? It's canceled as
Oh, he
the
just
death
went topside.
comes out. Yeah, I don't know if he canceled it himself or was just dodging the death ray. It's the boy just farming away in that mid lane. Here comes the Weaver's Wall, gonna get FNB away from the team.
Oh,
He pops the Dominus. He can't do anything about it, and Tay is going to
there we
steal
go.
the Herald. Very good Weaver's Wall by Don Arts. He will sacrifice his life for it, but if they give away too much here, might not be worth it. Not able to take the Eye of the Herald, but they deny it with a really good wall.
I am so happy right now, 4x4, because all the teams that were predicted to be losing, to be underdogs, are coming back huge this today in week 2, day 1 here. Vorax no longer looking lost. That engage was great. The entire team going in together. That's what I want to see. That's what I expected to see when you retain 60% of your roster in a league where almost everybody else changed greater than 50% of their rosters here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, ton of turnover. And I mean, and something like that I don't think even gets talked about quite enough is like, especially when you bring guys in from Korea, from Europe, what language are you communicating in? If you've got 5 Brazilians, fine, this is really easy. But if you've got even one gringo, your language will switch to English. And depending on who that gringo is and if they know English or not, if you bring in Parang, Wiser and Ryan, how good is their English, right? And how well is their English going to mesh with, depending on how well the Brazilian players know English. And so communication and synergy is going to take time, but communication just on a language level is something that can't be overlooked.
I mean, League of Legends is a language of its own. Parang literally won MVP while playing the first half of the I think it was 2019 split where he played with his mic muted. So,
Jeez.
oh no, it's 2020. It had to be 2020 because they were playing from home at that point. Yeah. So, but yeah, definitely something to consider when you have these imports. And so far, to be fair, Don Arts, the German import here for the side of Loud, he's been doing pretty well for himself, even despite being 1-2-1. He's still being pretty proactive and still making plays happen. So
Yeah.
the language barrier for Loud, at least, not too evident, thankfully.
No, the play has spoken more volumes than anything in the comms, I guess. Or maybe they are just communicating beautifully, and we just don't know. Maybe Don Arts is a
Maybe he speaks Portuguese. I don't
yeah,
actually know.
maybe he's a secret polyglot. We don't know. A little bit more trading here in the top side. But looking over to Yempi here, this is going to be interesting because Nidalee was open and opted to take Elise. Nidalee will transition a little bit better into the late game than Yampi will. Now, Yampi, he's got to be that bridge, right, to get to Matsukaze and the late game hyper carry that is Aphelios, and Victor as well can be an absolute menace into that late game. Donart's going to get spotted out by the ward. FNB knows exactly where his priorities lie. He's got the Dominus up for the counter dive. And the Merc Shred's going to give him a little bit of more resistance, but still not going to tangle with the Stormbringer available here for Tay, rather.
And there were so many good micro plays in that entire play, in that how Donart snuck in there without giving vision. Kiddo was ready to Destiny up top. Lots of great micro play, but macro wise, all that time spent just sacked the Ocean Drake for absolutely no reason. And Vorax gets that completely for free here. They have to make this gank work now.
Here comes the Destiny, the lockdown onto FNB. The knockup is there. Hard CC and Talia. Say it with me again. The TP is just a little bit too late. Crastiel able to get them off the tower. Matsukaze will go down to Seos despite a good Moonlight Vigil.
Yeah, I think that just caught Matsukaze completely by surprise. He just walked into that, wasn't expecting that sort of aggression, but you got to be aware, Kaisa can burst you down, and you're very, very squishy as an Aphelios. 200 years makes for really brittle bones at times, so got to be a little bit careful with
that. I like that. Yeah, no, he got popped immediately. Yeah, just sticks on the KDA 111 as well as for Crastiel. Yeah, we'll see what Yampy. He's got to be sitting on some gold right now. He's had the Night Harvester boots refillable pot there for a while, but he was the first one to his mythic item. No one else has it except for Dinketo with the Proto Bell, which has a really high win rate, as well as
Mhm.
Donart with the Ludens. That is pretty standard.
Yeah, I personally think Protobelt is one of the best mythics, just because of mobility. I just think mobility in general is so broken. So I hate Gale Force. I
Mhm.
hate Protobelt. I think they need to be nerfed slightly in terms of damage, in terms of, pardon me, the cooldown, so that you can't constantly use the
Mhm.
sort of mobility buff there. But it feels really good with Twisted Fate because you Destiny in, and even if they tried to run away, you just hunt them down anyways. Or if you're just trying to disengage your fight, either way, it's great. No need for rapid fire cannon if you pick up Protobelt.
Yeah, and 90 AP doesn't hurt either. I mean,
No.
that is just so nice. And the mythic passive is that you can't dash over walls, which is like the one, like, okay. But like you said, it's just so strong. Gives stacking magic pen. Now it is flat pen, I believe, instead of
Mhm.
stack percent pen. So, but with Twisted Fate, I mean, flat pen as bursty as you want to be, right? That feels like a little bit more what you're trying to do. Yeah,
Oh.
and but Rocket Belt also 40-second cooldown as a fight breaks out in the bot side of the map.
TP
TP
from
coming
FMB.
down as well. Yampy repels down. He's got to be careful here. Lays down a ton of damage. The Spiderlings
Oh.
are trying to finish off Dude's the boy, but Matsukaze will get the kill credit as the other ADC goes down. It has not been Dudes' day. Crastio trying to chase down Seos. The Death Ray will do the rest of it. Man, I like that Psyop skin. I really like that Psyop skin.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Seos, he's no Cleon. Sure, he hasn't. Well, I don't want to say he hasn't fed as much because 1 and 2 is not a great track record coming in, but he also does not escape quite as well as Cleon does. And I want to see how this fight kind of breaks out a little bit because they find Yampy, and that's good. That's great. What it's Wasp flashed in and he actually misses the pulverize, but the hit, but getting Seos over the wall. And my question is, how did Duds end up where he did? Caught between literally the entirety of Vorax there. Like his that was rough position because it wasn't a hit, but he walked into that, came in from a bad angle, and then just
Yeah,
got
and then
busted.
when it looked like he was home free, FNB just teleported behind him, just
Yeah.
nothing personnel kid, and just wiped him off the face of the earth.
Yeah, so really good collapses from Vorax, recognizing things. It just feels like so far, Vorax is just playing better.
Mhm.
Loud is getting good ganks off with sort of the Destiny and the Weaver's Wall, but they're kind of brute force ganks. So when you brute force a gank like that, there is a price for it, and usually that's either going to be a macro objective or a kill somewhere else on the map, pressure on a turret, something here, and it just feels like the brute forces are not quite as good as the team fighting from Vorax, which is something I never thought I'd say after week 1.
Well, week 2 here, round 3 has been a ton of fun because we have had our expectation just completely subverted. But it's been a joy, and I
Mhm.
can't wait for next week because and even tomorrow, right? It just
Yeah.
brings up so much more excitement as these teams continue to overperform based on their week 1 performances. But look, this game is far from over. Vorax actually down in gold, um, thanks to what? How?
The first turret being taken,
Yeah.
Loud Tay, pardon me. Oh, I said Lil. LLL looks like Lil to me sometimes. Was just left unattended the bot lane. And as much as we want to complain about Volibear not really, excelling in any area, not really standing out, he can take turrets if left unattended.
And he's
So
not particularly bad at anything either.
yeah, he's just
He's
bleh.
just there. Yeah.
But he did his job. He took a turret. He gets them a gold lead, and that's all he needs to do for now. Divine Sunderer Volibear, though, that's a unusual one for Volibears.
I think that was what was run in game 1 that Volibear was played. And usually you see I think Stridebreaker is a little bit more what you see. Sometimes Frozen Heart, I've seen that. Weaver's Wall gonna try to
Oh.
isolate Yampy, but he can just repel right over it. Or can he? Seismic
Oh.
shot lands! He gets popped! Jungler on jungler crime in the lane. Huge shutdown goal for Don Arts.
Oh my goodness, Professor. I've seen that before. That's exactly what happens when I try and kill a spider at home. You just like lead it into a corner and then you smack it down. And Yampy 3-0-3. He was doing so well before that. Got a couple of good escapes as well, but this time nowhere to run. And for all that we're praising Vorax, then for all that it looked like they were coordinated, getting the right team fights, they're starting to fall apart a little bit here. And I just hope this is a momentary lapse and not, a sign that we're gonna see Vorax from week 1.
Yeah, and the Weaver's walls have also been good from Donarts. Could Donarts not? Okay, we're gonna get a look at this. Could Donarts not repel over the Weaver's wall?
Yampy
Or excuse me,
couldn't, I
Yeppy,
think.
because he goes up and then
Yeah,
sometimes,
he had no real targets to jump through,
yeah.
unfortunately. So
Target, no, you do need a target. You're right. I'd forgotten about that. You're absolutely right.
yeah,
Mm.
so I think he just kind of got stuck there,
Yeah, and I
unfortunately.
think
And
FNB was trying to like kind of edge, like, hey, like I'm trying to get here. I'm trying to, be someone you could jump onto, but wasn't comfortable committing there. We do have a pause here between Loud and VRX. Depending on how long this goes, I might throw it to a break. But I don't know. I feel bad asking for you any kind of like zoomed out thoughts because it does seem like we kind of hit that. But if there's anything else you wanted to say, just kind of on the state of the game, expectations, worries you have for either side.
yeah, I'd say the Vorax thing is a little concerning so far in terms of how they've played after their early leads, because the Elise Renekton combo, that's strong, and we saw Yampy play it really really well. That's what we wanted to see. FNB and Yampy, they've played together last season. They got the synergy. They made it work. But the problem with Elise has been and always will be what happens after the early game. And we touched on it, right? That's not an Italy, and Italy already falls off. Elise falls off even harder. So what can you do? And so far, Yampy's not been able to transition that lead they got into the early game into any of their carries, into the Aphelios, really into the Victor either. So concerns there, and they need to address that, or else Loud can simply outskill, much less, how good Loud is and what we've seen from them. Even if they were an average team, they can just look to sort of skill up there and become a bigger menace when Elise and Renekton start falling off.
Yep, you get ahead by just playing defensively and passively a little bit here. Yeah, no, that's probably going to be what they have to do to a certain degree. Just force Yampy to, like you said, transition that lead. Which this is that critical point here. Whenever we come back from this pause, all eyes are going to be on Yampy because if he can't transition that, then Vorax, their hopes for their first win and upsetting Loud will go bye bye. We're going to take it to a quick break. In the meanwhile, though, hopefully we'll be back here with you soon. And if not, I mean, we'll be back here eventually. So stick around. 4x4 and RMC here with Dia pulling the strings on the unofficial English broadcast of the CBLOL. Welcome back, everybody. It looks like the action hasn't quite missed a beat. Loud and Vorax, game 4 of 5, 2-0 against 0-2 here. Man, I thought we were going to see something spicy right out of the gate. Well, actually, we still might here. A lot of pings flying down in the river. Donards and Dinketo going to take back this turret. Loud responding in kind. Little bit of extension here, trying to break down this tier 1 in response. We saw the first signs of kind of a little bit of faltering and maybe sloppy play from Vorax before we went to the break.
Yeah, so a little bit of a risky situation. Maybe that would help Vorax reset a little bit that pause there. We'll have to see. And you know what? We didn't see a lot of blood come down, but we saw a lot of bricks go down because three
There you go.
turrets in about the span of what was that? A minute and a half there just went down. And here we go. Here's the blood we wanted.
Oh, Dude's the boy with the killer instinct goes right in. TP's too little too late. The flash pace breaker is not going to find anything. Sidesteps the haymaker as well. Will the chaos storm be enough? It cannot move quickly enough. Dinketo going to take a little bit out of that. Man, that would have been spicy. Meanwhile, FNB doing his thing in the side lane.
Yep, taking down another turret there.
Jeez.
Both teams, just somebody hired a demolition crew, it looks like. It's just every single lane. And Vorax actually winning out in that turret trade. And you know what? I would trade my ADC for a turret at this point in the game.
I won't tell your ADCs that in the future. We have a flex queue. I'll let them know that you value their lives and that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
think they're special and
I value it at the price of a turret.
how much am I worth to you? Exactly one about the 20-minute mark. Actually, I can answer that pretty definitively and objectively. Don't try me on that.
Yeah, we don't talk about support lives because,
No.
Cleon showed us the value of that one.
Oh gosh, yeah, he did his best. I mean, them's the breaks, the breaks for supports, right? Always the sacrificial lamb. Seos here getting a little extra help for Loud. He's not the solitary go button. He's been pretty good as well. Pulled off a nice little dive on a little 2v1 dive on Matsukaze earlier in the match to pick up a kill for, I think it was himself. Wasn't sure if it was Duds or him, but either way, items starting to come in here. Everybody at about the 1.5 item spike point. No one's really accelerated past that to any serious degree here. So on even playing fields here as Vision is trying to be established around this Baron. Not to take, I don't think any side has the damage to take a Baron, but posture around it. Try to beta fight out of it. And the first one of 2 items is indeed Yampy.
And one thing that you have to always be aware of when you're playing with Vision against the like of Atilia and Twisted Fate is the fact that a lot of the regular avenues for entry might not be accurate for trying to predict VR movements. We saw the Weaver's Wall come across there, not catching Matsukaze, pardon me. So that's one of the globals down, but they've desynced it. So Dinketos is still available. And anybody who's split pushing, unless you're punishing Dinketo himself, you have to be aware that there could be a Twisted Fate just popping up next door.
No, you've got to keep track of those, especially with the Ocean Soul on the line here in potentially as few as 6 minutes. If Vorax can set this up well, they've got the Scuttle there. FNB pushing out the side lanes as he does. Duds the boy is on the top side of the map and kind of just summoning everyone towards him, maybe trying to force something out of this Baron. But they've got that lit up. Do Vorax, they're winning the Vision War right now. And if that Ocean Drake was up a little bit sooner, I say pull the trigger on that. But now they're just trying to push out the lanes and maybe try to get a pick here before this fight.
Yeah, good rotation here from Loud, that they are sort of in the right quadrant of the map here. They're actually going to start up this. I think this is very, very risky. And yeah, you can already see they've, after considering it a little bit, they had to back off. They don't have all the right people there necessarily right now to try and pull that off. Notably, Duds the boy. And that's not a Kraken Slayer either. Oh,
holy moly.
I did not see that. Yeah, Yampy's still a scary spider. Okay.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of that point, right? It's all downhill from here, mathematically speaking, but man, is he strong right now.
Yeah, and I want to give credit to the observer once again there, because I think that the fact that they actually toggled vision right before that so that we could see what Theo saw, which was nothing right before he died, because Yappy just hopped out of a bush and Vorax able to pick themselves up a nice dragon. So not Ocean Soul, it's the Mountain Soul coming out for this particular game. I don't think it's huge, but it will be nice to have that shield a little bit as well as the resistances. Both teams do have a couple of tanks, so nice pickup to play around. I would still prioritize the Baron though when it comes up in 5 minutes.
Hmm. Now it seems like it's Loud that have retaken the visual. Just as I say that, a control ward goes down by VRX, so fair play. Farsight alteration not doing a ton here. I want to give credit to Crastiel though, because I was looking at that mid lane matchup, and look, Dinketo, he's there for mobility, for global presence, to make plays around the map. But Crastiel has held his own. He's got that tier charged up. He's at 1.5 items. Got the Merc treads for all the CC coming in on the other side of Loud. And he's even in CS pretty much. He's been playing really well. I was a little nervous for him coming into this, and it's actually been, the top laners have just been just turret taking bots at this point. They're not playing through either one of them, despite FNB right on Renekton. The build is pretty standard right now. It's Gore Drinker Sterix, no matter what.
Okay, are we going to see the engage here? It's interesting because the Weaver's Wall actually cut off the bulk of Loud as well, and they've it's almost like a pause button. I feel like Dankedo maybe used it to get out. They do have Tay on the other side of the map with the teleport here, but it will be the fight.
Well, Moonlight Vigil gonna hit Dinkedo right in the nose, and he goes down. Crastiel joining the fight with the TP. They got the pick. Dinkedo was playing with fire there, and it's the other mid laner that comes out on the business end of that. Now they're posturing around the Baron. They could take this, but they're certainly gonna try to. Does the boy joining the fight? The TP baited here from Tay. Was trying to zone out. Seismic shove. He lands in, gets a nice 3-man knockup. Gets the stun there. Big old shield. Not going to do anything. Seos goes down. He's not that big just yet. They're able to turn this. VRX playing this beautifully. They've got the undefeated Loud on the run.
That was absolutely beautiful. Just as we were talking about Was, getting caught. No, Was didn't get caught. He caught you. He just dived into the middle of them, and he even survived it to boot as well. So huge win for Vorak. I was concerned about them falling off, and sure, Yampi's not transitioning kills, but the rest of his team knows how to find their own here. So Matsukaze is starting to scale up, starting to become that kind of dangerous Aphelios with that 2 item. And this is Kraken Slayer. This is not Gale Force. He's not mobile, but if you stand in range of him, he will hit you harder than any turret on the map.
Yeah, they're using their CC well, right? They're team fighting very well. Because like you said, yeah, look, Matsukaze, thank goodness he's got 3, 2, and 3 right now, because FNB has 0 kills. Yampi still has 6 of his team's kills, and he's very, very scary. And he will be for a while. And if we've seen anything from the last few games, what you do with a Baron and the decisive, just coordinated decision making, the next 2 minutes and 30 seconds could go a long, long way into deciding if Vorax win and how quickly they do so.
Yeah, and I feel like it's more of the former here, where if Vorax wins, because even despite taking Baron, their gold lead is actually not very, very high here. And pretty much the entirety of their gold lead came from the Baron, and pardon me, the subsequent turrets that they're going to be able to take here. So this is massive for them. They do need to take advantage of this to try and get the leads to stay ahead. And look at this. They're just shredding.
Yeah, they melted through that tower, but now it's when the Weaver's Wall came out, it was supposed to be I'm not trapped in here with you, you're trapped in here with me. Meanwhile, Tay and
yeah, the top laners are playing PvE.
Oh my gosh, in goes Was, not able to get quite as effective as CC, but the death ray does come out. Moonlight Vigil's only going to find Donard. On him, the Chaos Storm comes out, and the stopwatch is going to buy him a little more time, but eventually he does go down. Another tower for Vorax and another kill. Dinkedo rejoining the fight. Sky Splitter comes down. There's the Gravity Well as well. In goes FNB trying to layer down the CC. Showstopper into the back line. Matsukaze and FNB both picking up kills. They could end here. They're one at a timing at the TP into right next door. FNB and company gets locked out by the gold card there, but that should be the game. FNB, RMC. I apologize. This is the third game it seems like we've seen today where just one decisive Baron play has won the team the